All right, welcome back to the final round for all the marbles here at Modern Mondays. We're hanging out inside of Guardian Games. It's located in Portland, Oregon. We're Portland Paper. I'm Travis Cooper, hanging out with Nat Crosman, who has gone through two-thirds of a box of cookies, I think, here. Is
I
that?
brought some cookies in the booth tonight, and they're pretty delicious,
Yeah.
and when I make them, I eat them.
And,
So
yeah.
that's what I've been doing.
We've got a matchup of...
We have Blue-Red Prowess from Mikey on the left, and that will be against, Grixis Indomitable Creativity.
So Grixis creativity, able to actually just cast your Archons if you get there.
Not
pretty
likely
easily.
against Blue-Red Prowess.
Yeah, not likely to get there. But if you, if you're able to resolve a creativity, Archon's pretty good against that deck.
Yes.
Mikey is playing Unholy Heat, so there is ways to remove an Archon in the deck. It looks like we did a little odd or even there. Let's bump some player volume, hear what's going on. Yeah, Chad, it's nice to see Mikey 3-0 with this deck. It's also nice to see Mikey 3-0 in general. I know a lot of us, myself included, I have fun playing Modern, but I miss a lot of stuff about old Modern, and it's neat.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Oh boy, do we have a land? Do we have a land? Do we have a land?
We
no,
don't. We have no
lands.
land.
That looks like a mulligan.
Yeah, it's a mull. I did see one of those new promo Fatal Pushes from Zarek.
All right.
An ugly card in my opinion, but not a bad card, especially against a deck that's playing Ledger Shredder.
Yes, yeah, that I feel like Fatal Push is actually pretty good right now.
Yeah, stock has really gone up with
yeah.
Ledger Shredder in the format. I agree.
I think Push and Ending are also, like, right now sitting a little bit better than they were. Push is
Prismatic Ending's kind of been a garbage card for really. What are you talking about? Prismatic Ending was always good, wasn't it?
I feel like there was reasons to splash white for Ending, but, like, damage-based removal has been pretty decent lately. And then when Shredder is popular, it's nice to have stuff that's not damage-based removal, because Shredder can
Shredder gets big quick if you're not careful.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I personally, as a Rakdos player, did go from up to actually a 3-push 2-bolt split as the last time I was playing that deck because of Shredder.
Okay. All right, we bottom one.
I'm not really sure who won that roll, Trav, but it looks like it was
Zarek did. Yeah. Which, it always feels horrible to mulligan on the play when your opponent keeps 7, because you're basically giving them like 2 free cards. We're at card parity now, so, and we're getting in here with Swissbeer.
Yeah, it just kind of goes to reiterate the importance of play draw. I do think if you go to a tournament and you're, set. Oh, we haven't started the time, by the way, Travis.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
If you're 7 rounds of always winning the roll, it's just a really different tournament for you than it is if you're, even half and half or even 2/3, 1/3. It is a shame that Magic doesn't implement a little bit of way of balancing that particular aspect of variance. In my opinion, there's just not a lot you can do about it. As a deck builder, unlike some other aspects of variance which you can address, and it doesn't have to be player draw. It could, of course, be choice, just as it is now. You don't get the play, you get the choice of player draw.
I mean, you can play Gemstone Caverns.
And you could also take the draw and play 4 Gemstone Caverns. I'm not sure that's better, but it is ramp, and ramp is generically good. It'd be fun to play Gemstone Caverns in a deck that had a flash 1-drop creature that was worth a damn. Or, as my wife will love to hear me say, that was worth a shit. Hi, Melissa. Love you, baby.
All right. We got some interpersonal stuff going on here.
Put the streamer camera on so I can say hi.
We got to act. Okay, fine. It'll be very quick. Okay,
All
1,
right.
2, 3. Hi, Mom. Okay, we're back.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Did that for you. And it looks like we got another push for Zarek here. So Zarek able to kind of control Mikey's early threats, where this Prowess deck, as opposed to something like Burn, is a bit more all-in on doing most of your damage through creatures, and you have like your Burn to kind of finish it off if need be.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't. How much removal do we really see from the Grixis deck in generically? Is it heavy?
I
That
feel like that's kind of why that one of the reasons to go with a smaller number of colors is you can like streamline your spells and mana and have a little bit more in terms of like pushes and bolts and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You do give up on a lot of the planeswalkers when you're in Grixis, so you don't have the whole like Rin and 6 recurring your fetch land for all the Dwarven mines.
Right. I mean, how many? This deck has to play at least 10 or 11 fetches, I'm guessing. So probably your dwarf mines are there for the taking when you want them. You know, card is so good in this deck. It is hard to keep up with all the extra things they put on the battlefield to target.
All right, we're making a treasure and going to draw 2 and discard 2 with Prismari commands. And are we going to have a response? Looks like no. Always do shout out for folks who are going to play on stream. If you're showing up to Modern Mondays, you never know. You might play on stream unless you don't want to. But if you are going to, got to have your tokens. And
It's true. Get them tokens, players. Do it right. Did you notice earlier when we had the Utopia Sprawl, the player was using colored pebbles?
that was pretty rad.
It was pretty
I
slick. It was
appreciate-
pretty
yeah,
slick.
Very much appreciated that.
I mean, it's no obsidian void counter, but it's just right up there with the obsidian void counter, really. You got to give it props.
All right, what are we working with over here, Zarek? It looks like we got.
There's that promo push. Had that in the opener. Still sitting on it.
Oh, we used one. We just got another one too.
But that was not the promo, which
Oh.
is how I knew. They
Oh,
had it
okay.
since the
So
opener.
that's the fallacy. Yeah, that's the potential issues of using mix match cards.
Exactly. Really not optimal. I guess if you're not going to play snow basics in your deck like me, then you can't really criticize the mixed arts. But
Whoa, we discarded 2 pushes there for
that's
Zarek.
crazy. I
So
don't get it. I don't get that. Against a Ledger Shredder deck, I don't get it.
I mean, yeah, obviously Zarek knows that they're playing against Prowess, so must want the rest of the contents of the hand must lead to an Archon. All right, iteration Ragavan, Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart.
Iteration?
Depends what's in Zarek's hand. I mean, Bolt is also a fine take if you just don't want to, if like your goal is to not die the next turn. That deals you the most damage. The Bolt's probably like 4. Iteration if you're playing a longer game, but I think if you're doing that, you wouldn't have discarded the pushes. So, but it looks like we are taking the iteration. So Mikey's got at least, see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage represented right now. If he draws a
With the
land,
monkey
that's
and the bolt.
11. All right, we can Archon now if we have creativity. Archon, probably, if we had creativity and you tried to Archon there, Mikey would have just used removal for the dwarf token.
Right. Yeah. You against this deck, you can't just have one thing on the battlefield. You're gonna have to be able to do a couple things.
I think you might even block with the token right now because I don't think Mikey's going to have ways to get rid of the treasure, and so I think that's kind of what you want, like what you want to use for your creativity.
I think you're right. Chat, can you all hear us? Can you chip in if you can hear us? I think it may be. All right. Thank you. Any thoughts about Mikey's choice of basics there?
Oh,
A white border liker.
I think
Heathen.
I can't tell which. Oh man, I think those are 7th. Yeah, those are 7th edition white borders. Pretty good. I like it.
Yeah,
So I like the
7th.
art on 7th edition. I like the foil 7th edition's better because you get the rad black border with the old border. All right.
Well, that's indomitable creativity. Targeting. We have like an abrade here or something.
That would be the spice.
That'd be
for
pretty
a main deck
good.
card.
I mean, or even Spell Pierce seems good.
Not sure what Mikey could consider into that would matter, but
Spell Pierce?
maybe something. Yeah, I don't think that this deck is playing main deck counter spells. Always could be wrong about that, but all right. That's a beater.
And Life Swing. Yeah, those. I mean, again, remember when Reality Smasher
Yeah.
had too many abilities? Those days are over, Batman. Put card draw or discard a card on it. That's how we do it Magic now.
Yeah, I mean, Reality Smasher did have discarded card.
It did have discarded card on it. It's true. It's true.
And it does look like, Mikey has some draws here. Unholy Heats exist in the deck. I do think that is good design, how Archon is able to be killed by the 1-mana spell that exists in the same set.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you're saying that's a specific design choice. The cards are complementing each other, you think?
Unfortunately, I think Zarek has Persist in the hand as well, which is one of the reasons this Grixis deck has the whole reanimate effect as well as creativity. So even if we can heat that, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's just going to come back. And it looks like
there's
we do
another
have
creativity in his hand. So are we doing this in the main
beginning
phase?
of combat, which is
combat.
interesting. Mikey not doing that on their. Oh, I guess it was Mikey bobbled themselves to see if there was a heat on top to know whether to concede or not.
Okay.
Heat was on top,
And
so
then the
not
persist
worth
gets you there.
conceding.
Yeah.
And then the persist sort of gets them there. Gets them there, but
Yep.
yeah, that's a one game for creativity.
So are you bouncing that Archon if you're Mikey?
No.
You're just countering the spell.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to go under, basically, is what's
Right.
happening for Mikey.
Yeah,
here.
but it's going to be tough to get all the way under and just close it out before he does a thing.
You might bring in some artifact, some destroy artifact effects. Keep in your, I would say bring in spell pierces, bring in destroy artifact effects, probably.
Do you like EE at 0 here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Mikey's deck's playing it, but I'd be tempted to bring that in.
I mean, that triggers,
Mm-hmm.
Surveil for your Darcy. It's going to trigger a spell for your Swiss Spears.
We got a comment here about volume. Real gold player, I do talk a little bit quieter. I don't know if you perceive any difference between me and Travis, but I've noticed that Travis is really projecting and I'm not necessarily.
Well, I hate to have people ad blasted.
No kidding. I didn't even know y'all were seeing ads.
I think it drops ads like every 30 or 40 minutes, I think, something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we set it to the smallest amount of ads possible. And I think if you're a subscriber, it doesn't drop ads.
I was going to say, I don't believe
Yeah.
I've ever seen one.
Yeah, so if you subscribe, it doesn't drop ads. Yeah.
Well, I do subscribe.
There you go.
As mentioned earlier tonight.
All right. Let's see. What are we thinking for Zarek over here? What are we doing? Digging through the
chat saying we've seen Unholy Heats removed from the deck, which was remarked with a question mark, and I do agree that seems a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think there is the. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. Mike is a very good player, but if you are conceding that you're losing to a resolved Archon, maybe you just sideboard in the cards to stop that from happening. Like you
Uh-huh.
perhaps have some graveyard hate, you have some counter spells, and then you just are, you lose to a creativity that gets an Archon, or a persist that gets an Archon, and you're just trying to stop those things from happening.
How much room does a deck like Creativity have to sideboard here? Because I know that for oftentimes for combo decks, they're just kind of a minimum number of cards you need. Is Grixis a little bit more flexible there, do you think? Or
So the reason to go Grixis is you have more streamlined mana, and you're playing the persist package, so you're on like 4 Prismari commands, and so you can you mitigate the downside of discarding with that, so you can dig for one combo and then enable a second one. So I don't know a 60 or 75 off the top of my head, but I feel like there's your removal's probably your flex slot in that deck. And then I bet you have, because you're playing blue, you're gonna have some sideboards in the,
sure,
or some counter spells on the sideboard.
probably Flusterstorm because their blue player plays that now.
It's a $25 card.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that an uncommon or rare?
It was in a commander set, and then I think it's a rare in one of the reprint sets.
That's crazy. That's what happens, though. These cards that see play in Modern, and I mean, in Commander and maybe Pioneer now.
It was a big legacy card because it was in Commander, and it was very expensive. When it got reprinted, it got to be really cheap.
Legacy Commander thing.
And then it was like one of the, I think it was a buy a box promo, some kind of promo for a premium set, and then got really, really cheap. And now it's back up to $25.
That's one of them cards that's going to come back down, though. That's what I think.
Well, so
Untapped basic on the opener for there's the promo
push at beginning of combat.
Yeah.
So I think the issue with keeping Unholy Heat in the deck, and this is sort of like I'm making an argument for Mikey's thought process, I don't necessarily agree with this, is it is not a prowess trigger unless you have a target, and you might just not have a target with that card until you're like basically losing the game. So I could see taking it out of your deck.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I would, I definitely attest to Mikey's prowess with the format. Always respect that person as an opponent, in my experience.
All right, we got
the old Art Tormod's Crypt.
Hell yeah, I love it. It's not even Chronicles. You're not tilting your opponent with the white border there.
It's I imagine if you're a graveyard deck, it's tilting no matter what. There's another promo push, so.
Man, pushes look so good in this matchup.
Yeah, push's time has come back around for sure. Well, I mean, we even got to see a Goyf earlier tonight, so. Yeah, I think Ledger Shredder really makes push a good choice in a deck that's playing black for sure.
All right, so man, Zarek's sitting pretty over here. You've dealt with your 2 threats. Mikey is playing a deck that you want to kind of resolve a threat, get some a little card advantage from chipping in with damage, with like light up the stage. But you want to have something in play that's like doing some damage each turn. And Zarek's like dealt with these threats and is going to be able to employ a little fable here with a cool goblin token.
What do you like that card in this matchup or generically?
I think it's really good in this Grixis deck list because it makes tokens.
The getting the extra permanence seems real good, yeah.
And then also like digging for your combo and then ditching cards if you've got persist. Like, yeah, I think it's sort of like built for this type of deck.
I'm not sure what other decks really want it. It's kind of dirtily.
I've seen some cool lists that are playing it instead of Spyro, and then also I've seen some Murktide lists that are using it as a flex slot. The fact that it gets a treasure on attack, I think, is pretty relevant. Yeah. And if you have any kind of like graveyard interactions, all right,
Archon going down.
Dope. Do we have a persist? Are we going to play around a spell pierce? Those are questions. Lots of life for Zarek over here.
Oh, Tormod Crypt in play, points out chat. Yes, this is the last round, and it's game 2.
Yeah, when there's a card like Crypt in play and you have a persist, you sort of like
You have to run it out.
you play it.
Yeah, you
because
just have to get that Tormod's Crypt out of the way. And
I mean, there could be value in keeping it in your hand as a card to discard with like a Prismari command, but I sort of like the idea of just making your opponent like use their Crypt.
did I see a dress down in Zarek's hand?
Responding to an iteration, the third fatal push.
Yeah.
That's got to feel bad. Okay, well, we got another threat, got an iteration, so this seemed like fine. Maybe Ragavan, exile, and dash it? But okay, I didn't see what the third card was, but we put iteration on the bottom. Nope, we're just playing the Ragavan. That leads me to believe that there's maybe a Spell Pierce or a Fluster.
Yeah, or
something
representing
like
it
that.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, agree. Yeah. Spell Pierce doesn't necessarily get you as far if he can land another land here. Land another land or something. So there's the
Ooh,
critter.
got some shade down there, some smoky sleeves.
Can you dash from exile? You should be able to. Dash is an alternate casting cost. And it returns to your hand when done. You can
Yep.
dash under Luris, so
You can dash it for sure.
yeah.
All right, we got another goblin facing off a monkey.
Gobs a gobs. And proposing a trade. Sure. Oh, interesting.
We're just gonna block with a dwarf here.
Yeah. Interesting. So are we overloading removal here? Is that what we're doing?
Or just one blocks. I thought we might have, or Zarek might have done a like block with 2 in case there's one removal spell, but nope. And looks like Mikey has a plethora of Ragavans.
I was wondering if they
Two
were
more in
baiting
hand.
out the removal there for their own turn.
This is not. I mean,
Or monkey.
basically, when you have decks like Creativity that are just going to accrue some value by
Yeah,
getting
you
your
gotta get
permanents
there.
into play, and then like
Yeah.
eventually they're going to do some really powerful things, you really want to put some pressure on.
Agree, yeah.
Because
too
your
bad.
Mikey's like 4, 5 mana plays aren't great.
Ragavan not looking as strong in this matchup, for sure.
You know, a card I haven't seen in Mikey's deck is Manamorphose.
I agree, yeah. Probably not even playing it. We would have seen it by now.
Yeah.
Third
It's
third
kind of
round.
surprising to not see that card.
Yeah, so that's where you get your monkeys from, I guess, maybe. Yeah, Manamorphose is pretty good churn. I think you keep Ledger Shredder, but I don't know about the monkeys.
Yeah, because Manamorphose seems like it would play well with Shredder.
Yeah, I agree, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Now,
interesting.
Shredder, you only get 1 trigger per turn, but you get on both turns, right?
Correct. All right. Ooh. Blowing up the crypt and dealing 2 to Ragavan are the modes. And we're going to use the crypt. There goes Ragavan.
Making a copy of the token. Leaving us with 1 mana up. I'm not following that.
All right, we're darting and then sacking a dart in response.
So you don't get the you
Yeah.
don't get the token now because you paid the
Correct.
cost. Okay, all right.
All right. So Mikey's got a Ragavan. I think they might be all in on just like dashing this and then hoping to rip a Thoughtseize.
Interesting.
I would have liked the dash and then hope to rip a Thoughtseize because you're
Yeah,
you're
what's
so
the
far
out here? Are we
behind.
still-
Yeah.
Like even, so we get the critter. You can shoot it, but if he plays a fetch land, you're oh, there's 2 things now. And Spell Pierce not gonna get you there either.
2 Kikis. All right. Spell Pierce. So Zarek was playing around a 1 removal spell, did not play around the Spell Pierce.
So,
Ooh.
oh, X is 2, so that's where the mana went.
Okay, we got one more creativity in Zarek's hand. So this is spicy. I feel like Mikey, you have to attack and then hope Zarek blocks because there's a bolt in Mikey's hand. I love it. We got some tension here. And then maybe you'll rip another removal spell off the top of Derek's deck,
That would
or
be
a
fun.
Thoughtseize.
What?
That's not great.
What is that card?
It Tainted Indulgence. So it's a draw 2 and then discard a card unless you have 4 CMCs in the graveyard.
Oh, blue-black, huh?
Mikey really needed to hit a removal or a hand disruption spell there. Okay, we can still get 2 removal spells here. Oh, don't get it. I don't think there's any way at this point.
Yeah. Right. And with no heats, you're just done once the thing lands.
All right, so I think the hope here is to hit a counter spell, or not literal counter spell, but
Like another.
the Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm.
Yeah, and without it, you're dead.
Unless there's some next level you can do with
Mikey
Zarek,
doesn't know
yeah.
about the other creativity, though.
Yeah. All right, are we gonna go for it? How much are we gonna go for it? We're doing
Go for it all the way, man.
Okay.
Oh.
It's kind of Zarek's a little bit scared of like another Spell Pierce or removal spell there.
And I love that. I love that that's happening right now, actually.
Because if you paid 4 and just sacked 1, you lose to removal spell and don't even hold up Spell Pierce.
Right.
But,
It's really a nice next level play for Mikey here to kind of have that fear and playing it as you're out, in the absence of actually being able to do a thing. Travis, a thing I know you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you gotta have confidence. Stare
Every
down your
time I
opponent,
watch
be like-
you look at your 4 lands and think after an opponent plays a spell and the beat before you go, okay, I just enjoy it.
Can't let your guard down. Can't let your bluff down.
Chad, true confessions time. There was a time when Travis was like the guy to beat in my mind. Like I got paired against him and I was like, I'm really going places here at Guardian. I'm paired against that guy. And I expected to lose and did. Still happens sometimes, but not as often as it used to happen.
I haven't been paired against you in a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I've been playing very much for lately.
Got a dwarf. Got 2 Kikis. What are we doing? We gonna creativity for 1 now?
It's a little weird how you can have 2 of them Kikis. I'm just going to say it.
We're doing it. We're doing it for 1. Oh, this lightning bolt's gonna pay dividends now. Well done, Mikey.
I feel bad laughing here, but that's just fun stuff. 1 turn too slow.
I mean, could have just done it for 2, but wow.
But didn't know, right?
Didn't
you
did
play
not
it one
know.
way or the other? You guess wrong. I have such distinct memories of that against Whir decks with my meddling mages when I was on humans, with frickin' Ensnaring Bridge and Whir of Invention, and just always naming the wrong thing.
And, all right, Mikey does have Spell Pierce left over.
It's a beautiful thing. I really enjoy how Mikey's taking this game and playing to their outs here. Super fun.
Spell Pierce isn't going to be great if Zarek rips.
Because there's only the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's a persist.
It is a persist.
But there's not an Archon in the yard. Oh, there is another. Is that another creativity?
Yeah, another
Oh.
creativity. Is that the 4th one?
3rd, I think. Oh, is that the 4th?
I think it's
might
the
be
fourth one, yeah.
Oh my
I think there's one
gosh.
in exile.
Okay, we're looking at this graveyard. We're going to do
Well,
some-
you can't. There's only 2 in the graveyard, but I think there's
Okay.
one in exile.
Oh, we're doing drunk driving on joystick here. You're right. Graveyard.
leaving up mana for Spell Pierce.
Oh no.
Well,
So close, but yet so far away.
yeah, you're done now. With no heats, you're done. You have just the one lava dart. Spell
You're
Pierce.
so far away.
Are you trying to sing Sting right now?
That's not Sting. That's
Oh, yeah, you're right. Dire Straits.
no, it's female vocalist from the.
Oh, I'm too old for that. I was thinking, you're so far away from me.
No.
No, some other song, some other.
Yeah. This
Hey,
is
here's a
close.
question for you. How many hipsters
Oh God.
does it take to screw in a light bulb?
And I don't know, something about it being cool.
It's an obscure number, and you probably haven't heard of it.
Fair enough.
All right.
So no heats in Mikey's deck. We're digging for something. What are we digging for?
You're digging for there's
Digging
what
for
you're
a
digging
concession.
for. Digging for knowing that it's time.
All right. Well, that is.
Thank you, streamer viewers. You guys rock. Appreciate every one of you, and I'm glad to mostly be one of you instead of being on camera.
Yeah, that is the end of the stream. That's the last round here. We're back every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time in Portland, Oregon. We're Modern Mondays. We're hanging out at Guardian Games, and everyone have a great weekend. We'll leave you with the jam, and see you next week.
Portland paper.
Portland paper.